We out here, it's like 9 o'clock in the night, we recording a movie.
What is Survive and what is it about? So Survive, we wanted to make it a gripping tale, more so about the realistic repercussions that people face whenever they have a very serious scenario that they're not expecting, but it's pretty much a choice of what do they have to do to survive, and what are other people willing to do to survive also. And for me, we wanted to really showcase the emotional side of that entire experience and show just the entire development from learning about that experience all the way to choosing what you will do in the outcome to pretty much survive or help some other people or anything that comes up. It's what decisions will you make for each scenario. Each difficult decision is part of that experience.
This story to me is pretty, I wouldn't say hit close to home, but I guess kind of relevant, because I don't know about everybody else, but it has kind of crossed my mind. What if I am in the middle of the situation? What would I do? How would I react to it? I would like to think I would help people out, but then again, I don't know. It kind of depends on the moment, and this story kind of lays out just a story, a possibility of what ideally would happen, which is looking out for each other even in the worst of situations. The main goal for this project, at least what we agreed on, was we wanted to kind of raise awareness on the topic, specifically school shootings. So not entirely gun control or gun policy, but more so awareness of the act itself of school shootings and what do you do in the situation. At least for me, when I was doing research before I wrote the script, I didn't find a lot of help, a lot of information of what do you do in the situation. I relied a lot on testimonials that were still even then kind of hard to find, and then from there just kind of interviewing friends, asking people I know what would you do in this situation, and just kind of from there pulling everything together. So I think it was kind of important for us to kind of get the awareness out.
What appealed to me most is really showing the emotional side of the entire endeavor. We wanted to get to the nitty and gritty of the entire thing, not be gruesome with it. We wanted to have some respect to it, but also to show the very emotional side of this scenario that is a little bit too common in modern society. And although it is a dramatization, we definitely did want to show the emotional side that a person goes through, from the decision making to coping with realizing that the entire situation can end up in a very, very negative way.
What interested me a lot in this project was how real can we make it? Obviously it's a film, it's fake, it's a dramatization, but I really wanted to make it feel real. I wanted whoever's watching, blood pressure to boil up and to make you feel anxious and uncomfortable. We really wanted to have that realism, so the message can get across of bringing awareness of this does happen. It's a horrible thing. What do you do? How human can you be in an inhumane situation? Pre-production for this film was actually pretty different from previous stuff me and Bulmaro have been part of. We're not the most proactive people, so typically we would kind of get an idea, develop it slowly, and just slowly take off, and then towards the end we're really running on all cylinders, and typically it turns out pretty well, but I mean it's never as good as it can be. And I think for this one it was different, because once we did land on the idea, we we quickly connected on what we wanted to do and what the idea was and what the story is. So we took it and ran.
One of the biggest issues was finding casting. We wanted to really get a character or an actor that would fit the role, because this was a very not physically but emotionally demanding role. So we wanted to get someone that was able to showcase that, but also willing to have the scenario be put onto them. And because it is such a sensitive topic, such a sensitive scenario to be put in, and although it isn't real, it could bring up a lot of different emotions and different perspectives that we thought were interesting, but we wanted to be, of course, respectful too.
Everything was going great. We even got my friend Daniel to do the theme on it, which was pretty exciting. But then from there, we kind of hit a wall, because it was hard to find casting. Initially, the lead role was supposed to be for a girl, and we were supposed to have at least I think 7 to 10 extras. That didn't pan out. We asked probably 3 or 4 girls to be a lead. All of them either couldn't, or I guess just didn't seem interested, or maybe didn't think we could pull off or something. Extras, looks like nobody had time, and even for the gunmen, we had 2 people in mind, and both of them couldn't. So after a while, kind of in desperation, I was kind of talking to Daniel. What were we thinking for the music, for the theme? What he kind of make, and then I just kind of threw it out there. He used to have a YouTube channel back in high school. I've known him for a long time, and he always wanted me to be one of his videos. I always kind of said, "Nah, I'm good." And just kind of desperation, I kind of said, "Hey, I know you're making music. I know you're busy, but would you like to be in it? I know you can act. You know me well. I know you well. I know how to motivate you. I know how to direct you." And he read the script. He liked the idea. He's like, "Yeah, let's do it." And that actually, it turned out to be a blessing. He was phenomenal. His acting range is great, considering he did a lot of comedy in his YouTube channel. He showed a lot of emotional range. When he needed to change things up from the script that he felt was different, he did it, and he shined. He did it great. It turned out better than the script, so that's awesome. And then when he saw something in the script that he felt was good, he followed it.
We definitely lucked out with Daniel. He was probably the shine in the rough, the glimmer in the rough, the diamond in the rough, everything in the rough. That really helped not only the entire perspective of the production to go a little bit higher, and Daniel's he's great to work with. So that made it substantially easier, because we were working with someone who was not only interested in the project, in the production, but also with someone who genuinely had that talent and was able to share it with us.
I'm excited.
All right, so this particular scene starts about 1 minute and 37 seconds into it. And this is pretty much Daniel realizing that there's a person running, and it's been consistent because now there's another person running. This is the second person he sees running, and he's not sure what the situation might be. So, his gut instinct is telling him, hey, there's probably something happening, so I should follow. I should run away from whatever they're running away. And his instincts kick in right at that moment. So he's like, okay, I'm gonna join them. I gotta get out of here. Something's happening. So in the scene, we do see Daniel seeing as the person is running by. And pretty much what I found really interesting about the shot is immediately, right from when you switch over from the other shot where he's sitting down, the motion kicks in. You see him as he gets up. He's looking and watching as this person runs in, looking over his shoulder, and then we follow the person running, and pretty much we follow through entirely as he switches over to following Daniel right as he's running, right alongside him. We're right there in the action. And they go through all of the doors, trying them, struggling. And this, we had to do several takes of it because the timing has to be right, the motion has to be right. There's a lot of light, so there's a lot of glare. There's a lot of motion, so we have to make sure to get that motion in focus, get it all to where we wanted it to be. And because it's a lot of running, this shot as one take was difficult to get, but in the several takes that we got, we ultimately got one that we were really satisfied with, and we chose to go with that one.
Aside from the scene where Daniel is trying to escape, he's still upstairs, and right before he's gonna go downstairs. Aside from that scene, there's the other scene that really sums up what this movie is the final scene. So Daniel escapes. He looks at the graveyard. He sits down with Bulmaro's character. He stays with him until he passes, showing his human side. And then he goes downstairs and he's gonna escape. He sees the door and he's ready to go. But then he hears somebody else struggling. He hears the gunman about to go get another victim. And this one, the intention here was for one to kind of play with the audience of, oh, you finally made it, he's gonna get out, it's a happy ending, you know. We can finally get out of this together. And then just kind of snatch it from under them. It was as much of that, of, you know, just storytelling, but it was also just kind of showing even more human emotions, because at this point Daniel has a bunch of rage for the situation, and his blame is towards the gunman, and he just doesn't want to see another person die. So instead of going out and escaping, he turns around. He sees another person in need. He feels that rage, and he goes and he tries to stop him, which results in him dying instead of the other student. And that right there kind of plays out the whole idea of what would you do in this situation? You have the option to leave. Do you leave? You see somebody who needs help, do you go help them? And all these options that you have in a difficult situation like this.
So we hope you really enjoyed the project. This is Survive. And what we really want and wish is that if it resonated with you, that it does spark a conversation, because it's something that happens in our society far too often. There's situations that can be avoided, whether it be for gun safety or it be for any other safety concerns that happen around schools, campuses, anything like that. I think that we should talk about them, we should discuss them openly and see what change can be made. Did you want to add to that?
Just hope you enjoyed this this closer look at the film, and I hope you enjoyed the film. And yeah, thanks for watching.
Make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below.
I'll add that at the end.
All right.